I'm going to start my talk with a question, and I think this is a question that most of you will resonate with. And it goes as follows. Have you been in a situation where you told yourself you will never do something, and then you end up in the exact same situation that you're doing that? Okay, lots of nods. Mine is the worst, trust me. All my life I said I will never come to Armenia. I will never live in Armenia. Here I am. And actually, I used to feel repulsed by all the other repats who came to Armenia and so heroically left their comfort, and then they're sacrificing so much. And I was like, oh, I'm never going to be like that. I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. I grew up in a family. My parents were very caring. I loved Beirut. I felt much more Lebanese than Armenian. And that was for the most part of my life. But at some point, in parallel, I was thinking, yeah, okay, I'm studying, I'm doing my MBA. I went to Switzerland, I came back. I never did all these things in a way that I planned them. So when I came back from Switzerland, I felt like, okay, I'm not that comfortable in Beirut. I am feeling like things are changing, and I'm not very comfortable with the trajectory of my life. So at this point, things started to get difficult. I was not feeling happy. I was thinking that, okay, should I do this? Should I do that? Very confused situation. And it even got to a worse day. I had days where I didn't want to go out of bed. I had trouble going to work. And the worst part was when I hit rock bottom and I said, I don't want to live anymore. It's not like I want to kill myself. I don't want to do suicide, but what's the point of continuing to live? And I tried everything, I tried changing my diet, I tried fasting, I tried, all the things that we do. And they help, I don't know. But this is not a very unique situation for me. I'm sure most of you have also been through this. And we tend to label these moments in our lives. We were like, this is depression, this is anxiety, this is midlife crisis. So not for me, I'm not that old. But what we fail to do, though, in these moments is we too often we're labeling these moments and we're not thinking, is there something behind all this? Are we, getting a message that our life is going in a certain direction it shouldn't? But, we're not getting that. And I tried to think of it in this way when the time came. And it helped that when I was growing up, my mother was very caring, and she told me, you need to, listen to these messages in your life. You need to pray. And I did the most simple thing, none of the other things were working. I was like, okay, I'm going to do the most simple thing. And I don't know how much I believe in that at that moment, but a few months after this moment, I got a call. And the call was, an invite to come and work and be based in, out of all the places in the world, Armenia. I felt like such a hypocrite because I was about to take the offer, and imagine how desperate I was to get out of my situation back then. I just said yes, and I came here. Now, I'm going to talk about the moment I came here, but fast forward 5 years to that decision. And, I told you how my life was very scattered around. I, did some music when I was young. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I studied architecture in university. I loved it, but I didn't know if I was going to work with architecture or not. And then I was in our family's business. So all these mixed up feelings. 5 years after moving here, I slowly started to see that the small puzzle pieces of my life start to fall into place one by one. For example, the music lessons that when I was young and my mom forced me to do them, somehow I made some connections here. I met the right people. And probably in the future, I'm going to be collaborating with the symphonic orchestra on an album. The architecture degree that I did in university, and I loved it, but I had never, practiced it as a profession. It came very handy when I co-founded 2 restaurants and I did the architectural design for them. Or my experience in the family business. At such a young age, I was a manager of around 100 people. And that helped me lead one of the biggest NGOs here at such a young age. So all these pieces start to fall together, and I'm looking at them. I'm taking a step back, zooming out. And the only thing I could say was, I could not have engineered this myself. And in those moments, you try to think that, okay, was this related to what I thought about before coming here? If there was a message to come here, be based here, is this a part of the plan? It wasn't easy, let me say, from the beginning. Like when I moved to Armenia, I hated living here. And as a repat, you always have the cultural shock, you always have the language barriers. And it was very weird to see that all the buildings were pink. It's okay now, I like them now, but at that point it was very strange. But yeah, you have these moments when you take these decisions in life, when you're coming here anywhere, and you're trying to pursue a goal. You have these moments when you're like, did I do the right thing? Because you're going through so much, and the first few years were very difficult for me. And it is in those moments that you start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt your decision. Okay, did I base this on the right thing? Did I come to the right place? Is this correct? And I'm sure you have these moments too. I mean, every one of us is given a dream, a goal, an objective. And, you're going to have these moments where your dream is going to be tested. And what are you going to do in these moments? For me, what helped was believing that there is this grand design, I'm coming to Armenia, there's a design and there's a plan, and I'm part of something. But yeah, that was very helpful for me in those moments. So I think what I'm trying to say is we're too often excluding this spiritual dimension in our lives. And we're too focused on rationality, on logic. And, this is not everything. We have a body, we have a mind, but we also have a soul. And I think this is what the title of today's events is about, Awakening the Soul. And, it's a shame that so few of us are thinking in this direction these days. And I think it's affecting us as a nation as well. But I think we have the wrong perception about what this could mean. Maybe what we think is, okay, this is going to mean I have to go to church, light up a candle before something falls over my head. And that's not how this is supposed to be. This is not what it's about. So we're willing to do everything. We're willing to try everything. Expensive retreats, yoga and meditation, and I'm sure all of those work. But what we're not doing is, tapping into our inner self, trying to understand what works for us, what we want to do. And in those moments, you can only find what you truly want in life. For example, Manush, what did you study? Okay, medicine. You're going to become a doctor. Maybe one day you're going to design an airplane or build a skyscraper. with your name on it, like the Trump Tower. But if you're going to do that, you cannot base everything on rationality. You have to come deep into yourself, tap into your inner being, transcend your body, and that is where you find what works for you. So you heard my life story. You saw how everything was, my life was all over the place, and how it came together so beautifully. And I think there was a greater force in play in all this, and it's possible. You can be that person who pursues your goals, who pursues your adventures, and you have this exciting life, and have this in your life. It's possible. I've done it, and my advice is, if it has worked for me, it's going to work for you too.